Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over this great email that was sent from a subscriber. That's from a guy. Sounds like he's 32 years old. And recently he ended things with his girlfriend of 3 years, this past January, after she proposed an open relationship. And you're going to see that this guy handles this like an RP Jedi Master. However, he wasn't always that way. And he, like many of you guys watching this, was burned pretty badly when he was younger. And he definitely saw the world differently. However, after discovering a lot of content online, content like mine, the guy completely did a 180. And when he got into the relationship with this girl, because he was still a relationship guy, he knew exactly how to behave, what to look out for, all that. And eventually, that helps him big time. Where if he hadn't, he could have ended up just like so many of these poor guys that go along with these awful relationships, these awful gals that treat him like crap, etc., etc. That'd be a great one to do here on a Friday before we start the weekend to show you what happens when guys learn this material, stand up for themselves, all that. So, it says, hello SSM. I never imagined I'd be sending in my own story to a channel like yours, but here I am. I think the final push was after watching your videos over the last 4 months and realizing just how many guys out there are ignoring the writing on the wall and accept nonsense in their own lives. I was that guy for a long time. It's embarrassing to admit, but for a long time I had no idea just how many things I was doing wrong and how many red flags I didn't recognize or just ignored. Well, brother, you are not alone, because most guys are that way. And guess who also was that way when he was younger? Me. All the things I tell you guys not to do, I pretty much did them, and more, because I didn't know. I had a great dad, but, I didn't go to him for things, and he was a lot older than me, and when he retired, he was done. So I had to learn things the hard way and go through a lot of pain. So I share these stories with you guys so that the younger guys or the guys that are dating don't have to go through what I went through. And by you guys writing in your stories, you help dudes out there. So you're doing a great public service. I think my first step into the RP community was at the end of 2021 when I came across one of Kevin Samuel's videos, and it was an eye-opening experience. I've since watched a lot of other channels, but I find myself coming back to yours the most, more often than not. It's like most of the channels out there are just repeating old Reddit stories. I love that you share your community stories and give feedback on them and do it in a way that makes it feel more balanced. It's refreshing to see a channel that isn't all men are bad or all women are bad. So thank you for the entertainment and wisdom. Well, you're welcome, bro, and I appreciate your support. Yeah, I'm a middle-of-the-road type of guy. And some people don't like that. They think I should be more severe. And other people think I'm too severe. But at the end of the day, you can't make everybody happy. So I'm glad you like it. My what I would call last serious girlfriend was in 2018 when I was 27 years old. We've been together for a little more than 4 years, and we're planning to get married the following year. We made a lot of plans for the life we were going to have together, and I really thought she loved me. Oh, how wrong I was. It was pure dumb luck that I found that she was cheating on me and had been doing it for nearly 2 years that I discovered. You've been with her for 4 years, thought you were going to get married to her, and you found out she was cheating on you for 2 years. Man, that sucks. I'm sorry. But how many guys are like that? And who does that? Pieces of garbage. I would like to say that it was just with a coworker, but that would ignore that she was sleeping with any guy with a pulse on her girls' nights out with her friends. Girls' nights, guys. I stopped counting when the number of guys I could confirm hit double digits. Well, she clearly is a sociopath and probably just enjoyed punishing you in some way. Now, perhaps there were things you were doing that were turning her off. Guys make mistakes, but for someone to do this to somebody else, and it goes to show me she wanted to lock in her nice guy, no offense, that's what you were back then, for marriage, but go have all the fun, because you can't be a strong, empowered woman in the 2020s not doing it. This is what has been conditioned for decades, really since the S-word revolution, thanks to what group we all know. Well, if guys can do it, so should we. It's terrible. Any people wonder why so many guys are walking away from relationships and dating things like this. And by the way, I'm sure many of you guys have had girlfriends or wives that watch those ridiculous reality shows, The Bachelor, Bachelorette, all those other spin-off shows, and see how the gals behave. I'm sure you've heard about this. That really shows what our reality is like nowadays. So anybody ever says, why do you watch that stuff online? Why do you have that opinion? You say, hey, watch those reality shows on TV, how the girls behave. That is how things are right now. How do I know? Because I've done thousands of freaking stories. I think I have like 1,600 videos in circulation with situations just like gals like that. And amongst the other thousands I read, but I can't publish. And you all know what I'm talking about. Why would I be involved with gals like that? Right here. Sounds just like these gals in those reality shows. Reality. But then again, they are reality. She was probably cheating on me a lot longer than that, but I stopped investigating at that point. The entire relationship had been a lie, and all of her friends were helping her keep a secret from me. There you go. They kept it a secret. They're all scumbags. All her friends. Which sucks, because one of them worked with me. I guess that made it easy to keep tabs on my daily activities. When I confronted her with all the evidence I had, and there was a lot, I expected all the tears and apologies. What I got was laughter. What she told me really effed up my head and set me on the path I am today. She said while she was laughing at me, it took you long enough to figure it out. You must be the slowest man I've ever met. She actually laughed at you when you confronted her about her cheating with more than a dozen guys. She actually laughed at you and then insulted you like about time you figured it out. What does it say about her? I hope she gets involved. I hope she gets pregnant by 3 different baby daddies and is fucking 300 pounds in 10 years and living on welfare, because someone like that, they deserve what's coming to them. Karma will hit her. Guaranteed. Then she gathered up the things that she had in my apartment and left with me a broken mess. It was the most cruel thing anyone has ever done to me. But it was the shock to my system that I needed to rip the rose-colored glasses off and look at the world for what it is and not how I wished it to be. That is a very good line there. Look at the world for how it is, guys, not how you want it to be. The problem is you got a whole world of people that live by this idealistic ideas of how things ought to be, and it doesn't work. Look at many cities here in the U.S., how they're governed. You guys catch what I'm talking about here. And the crime rates are through the roof. They want to run things how they think things ought to be, not based on reality. And hence, crime is through the roof in so many of these cities where people run on ideas or idealistic ways of doing things as opposed to reality. I don't blame all women for the actions of one skank, but it did make me a lot more cautious. It was during my healing that I started consuming RP content, and that eventually led me to your channel. I never heard from her again. Well, that's a good thing. Although her friend that I work with still tried to talk to me for a few months after the breakup. She gave it a try when I simply refused to engage with her at all. Good, very smart. She would say hello and some other greeting, and I would walk by her without acknowledging that she existed at all. The last time she tried and I ignored her, she said, "I'm sorry I didn't say anything, but you don't have to be an a-hole about it." Yeah, he does. I wanted to say something, but I did what I thought was best and continued to ignore her. After the day, she never bothered talking to me again, but would glare at me occasionally. That was the first time it registered in my mind that you really can't be friends with a woman, because in most cases they will always side with the other woman. Lesson learned. Yeah, exactly. Unless the gal likes you, then she'll betray her friend for you. But other than that, yeah, they're going to stick together for multiple reasons. And of course, just being friends with women, it doesn't work. Yeah, and I've given my reasons why. You can be acquainted, you can be friendly, but like friends hanging out with and texting with, that's just stupid. And you know my reasons why. I've ever seen a quote that someone posted on a video that RP community doesn't recruit. They simply wait and accept new members when they're ready to see the truth. When that reality had finally sunk in, it was interesting, and I finally understood the meaning of R-pill. Until that point, I felt like Mr. Anderson in The Matrix. I knew there was something wrong in the world, but I had no idea what it was. Well, there are a lot of people out there. If you're watching this channel, you know darn well what that is like. You sensed something that was wrong. Maybe you didn't know. Now you know. Everyone was just going about their daily lives and completely oblivious. That was when I woke up and really started looking for answers. The more I learned, the more I realized how many mistakes I had been making in relationships. I thought that the only thing you need to do as a man was be a good person, a loyal boyfriend, and everything would work out. I had no idea that it really was a war zone out there. After reading so many stories about limited littered corpses of relationships, the decline in marriage rates, and finally the cold hard reality that the laws are stacked against men in divorce, I changed my approach to dating and what my ideas were on marriage in general. It was a slow process, but has led me to where I am today. Sorry for the rant, but this process took the last 5 years of my life to get to the place I am now. Bro, it's all right. You're saying what we're all thinking. Now we're going to get on to the main story. He had to build this up, what led him down his way. Because all of us have our story, which led us to the point we are now. He says, I used to be the do anything for love type of guy, and now I'm more of a one strike and you're out kind of guy. Good. That's how you have to be. After the girlfriend I mentioned above, it took me about 6 months to dip my toes back in the dating pool, and I could see the red flags. I could see the red flags I've been ignoring before. It was after a lot of crap dates and manipulations that I had an epiphany in 2020 while in the lockdown. He says, most of the women I met were only looking at me as a resource. It made me question what I was getting out of all the effort I was putting in, and I kept coming up with a big fat zero. Then I realized that time was my most valuable resource, mostly because I had no idea how much of it I had to waste. Time is an extremely valuable resource. We only have so much time, guys, and then we're done. End of story. And you never know when your number's up, so why waste your time with a-holes in your life? And if you want happiness, you got to create the happiness on your own. Not try to get somebody else to bring you happiness, because you sure as hell aren't going to get that from the gals today in today's dating market. Now, there certainly are exceptions on occasion, but it's sadly extremely rare. When they started to ease the lockdown in my area in 2021, I went on a few dates, actually semi-dated one lady for about 4 months. Initially, she seemed really into me, but more and more she started flaking on dates, and we were together. She would always be texting on her phone and taking selfies to post on Instagram. Lots of red flags there. You guys, you're dating a gal and she's always posting on social media, break up with her because she's an attention, WHRE. She's getting attention, no doubt talking to other dudes. Don't waste your time. And she shouldn't be texting when you're on a date. She should be paying attention to you. This morning, guys, my throat's a little stuffed this morning, so I'm coughing here. My apologies. She never included me on any of them, so I figured she had the for sale sign up. I didn't argue with her or accuse her of anything. I just broke up with her and walked away. Very good. It was amazing how interested in me she became after that. For about 2 months, she acted like she was doing me a favor just being in my presence. And the second I walked away, I was the most important person in the world. I remember you saying in one of your videos that attention for women is like a drug, and when you take it away from them, they go through withdrawal. Yes, they can't. Attention to women, attention and validation is a drug. And it's like plants. Plants can't exist without water and sunlight. It's the same thing to women without attention and validation. And when they have all this attention and validation at their fingertips through social media, Instagram, TikTok, and even worse yet, OnlyFans, they're just drawn to that, getting in that arena, and they're roped in. And I've seen people that just cannot put down their phones because they got to look who's commenting, who's liking their stuff. It's like, get a freaking life. I dated a few more times after her, but the only women I was running into in person or on dating apps were the ones that just wanted to hook up and was getting pretty old. It was at the beginning of 2022 that I met my last girlfriend. For the story, we'll call her Jane. At the time, I was 31 years old and she was 29. Aha! 29. What comes after 29? 30. What's the number they're all terrified of? 30. And you all know why. We met by accident, really. I was driving home from work around the middle of January and it was already dark outside. I noticed a car sitting on the side of the road with its emergency flashes on, so I pulled over to see if they need some help. Wow, you're nice. I had no idea who it was, but I remember back when I was around 18 or 19 that I found myself on the side of the road in a similar situation. The alternator had gone out on my car. I didn't have a cell phone at the time, and I sat there for nearly 2 hours before someone pulled over to see if I was okay. It was an older guy that ended up giving me a ride home to a local repair shop, and ever since then, I tried to do what I could to help others. I tried to give him some money, but he rejected it and said that if it was one of his kids on the side of the road, he wanted someone to help them. Anyway, when I pulled over, I found Jane sitting in her car, and she had a flat tire. She said she'd been there for a little while, waiting for one of her friends to come and help her out. Everybody should know how to change a tire, for goodness sake. If I had children, if I had a daughter, I'm not raising any masculine girls, but let me tell you 2 things that I would teach them. 1, they'd learn how to fight off any predators. And 2, how to change a freaking tire. And that way, in the middle of nowhere, and it's going to take AAA 5 hours to get to them, they can do it themselves, okay? Everybody should know how to change a freaking tire. Use the jack, change the tire, for goodness sake. Now, I know when tires are put on, sometimes you need to be pretty strong getting those tires off. You all know this, to change tires, but still, everybody should know. Anyway, I'm in the mood to talk this morning. After introductions, I offered to change the tire for her. She was a bit hesitant at first, but to put her mind at ease, I let her hold my driver's license so she would have my name and address just in case I turned out to be a creep. You can't blame her for being a little nervous. I mean, seriously. Awful things could happen in a situation like that, to be fair. I changed the tire and was putting the blown tire and her jack away when another car pulled up behind mine. It was the friend that she had been waiting for. Jane introduced me to her. We will call her Angie. When I was finished, she returned my license and thanked me for the help. I told her it was no problem, and I thought that at the end of it, and I told them to be safe before I headed back to my car. Jane asked how she could repay me, and I waved it away. But she insisted on doing something, so I asked her if she was in a relationship, and she said no. I suggested that we can go to lunch on the coming weekend, and that would make us even, and she agreed. You smooth dude. Lunch went well, and that turned into dinner the following week, followed by calls and texts. I wasn't looking for anything serious, but she was fun to talk to, and after about 2 months, we were doing something together about once a week, and she wasn't giving off any red flags. I wasn't in a rush for anything serious, and we were having our fun. So this is after years of him consuming RP content, seeing reality. He's still a relationship guy, but he has his knowledge, and he's on his guard. And thank the Lord for that, as you're about to see. And remember, no red flags. It was after we'd been together for about 5 months when she brought up the idea of dating monogamously. I wasn't seeing anybody else and enjoy where we've been going, so I agreed. But I told her at the time to be sure that's what she wanted. Because in my mind, that meant that all singles activities would come to an end, and she agreed. That was the beginning of July. I was having a great time with Jane, and her friends really liked me and didn't seem like a bunch of crazy bees. Throughout the rest of the year, we had a lot of fun and even went on a ski trip a few weeks before Christmas. I thought my relationship was going pretty well, but if that was the case, I wouldn't have need to write you now. It was in January this year that our relationship ended. Well, let's remember, I guess he's been with her about a year now. Everything seems great. He took his time. You all heard that. 5 months of them dating before she brought up the relationship. That's the way it should be for your relationship, guys. The guy shouldn't be asking her to be exclusive. A guy should be waiting for her to bring it up. Because if he brings it up, already she has the leverage. If the guy tells her, I love you first, she has the leverage. Wait for them to bring up the relationship. Wait for them to say the I love yous. That puts you in a much better position. And if you don't do that, that's going to show you're way more than they are into you. And sadly, there are a lot that will use that to their advantage. Just quick tip. Okay, on to the big moment. It says, we were out to dinner one evening in the middle of January when she started telling me how much she enjoyed our time together. Here we go. They always choose restaurants. You're having your freaking steak or your steak's on the way, and then they got to bring up some issue. It's like, you could have done this at home. Then she took a hard left turn and suggested we try, wait for it, an open relationship. What happened to those red flags you didn't see? What happened to how cool her friends were? What happened to the great relationship? All of a sudden, open relationship. What's going on is that she's like, I finally got this guy. He's in a place I could tell he's really into me. I feel comfortable enough to now so I can have my cake and eat it too. And this could be the guy I marry one day, so I can have the husband lined up, or I can have the fiance lined up. He ain't going anywhere, and I can get some side, you know what. But when girls bring this up, usually one of two things is going on. Either they already have a guy they have in mind, or they're already hooking up with somebody else, and this is going to justify the cheating. And you're going to see it's going to be one of them. Her build-up took a lot longer than that, and I'll admit the sales pitch was pretty good. But the end result was that she thought we could have a lot more excitement if we didn't restrict ourselves to monogamy. Check, please. Have a nice life. I asked her how long she'd been thinking about this and told her how difficult open relationships are to make work. She said it had only been recently, but she loved me enough to be secure in our relationship, and she wasn't worried about jealousy messing up what we had. Well, newsflash, if we had something so great, you don't need other dudes coming in to give you some side dick. I told her for an open relationship to work, I had to be built on complete trust, and she agreed. Now don't worry, guys, he's not going to go for this crap, but watch what he does to her. And she never sees it coming. Just to get an idea of what she was thinking, I asked her what kind of relationship would look like to her, and she said that anything that either of us did with other people would be purely physical, and then we would come up with the rules to make sure we didn't catch feelings for someone else. Yeah, good luck with that. And who's going to come up with the rules? Probably her. She came up with a few more rules, what I tell you, but honestly, I wasn't really listening to her. When she got done talking, she asked what I thought about the idea, and that if I didn't like it, we could just continue our relationship the way it was. There is no continuing the relationship the way it was after this little speech of hers. Oh, no. And if he did that, she would just go hook up with the guy she had in mind or keep hooking up with the dude she was already hooking up with. It's over. Goodbye. Have a nice life. I already knew that the relationship was over and that more than likely she was already talking to someone else at a minimum. And where'd you learn that? Thank the Lord for the content. It ain't just me. There's other dudes doing these shows. I reiterated that those types of relationships took a lot of trust and open communication to work, and she agreed. While saying she wouldn't keep anything from me, I've seen this story play out too many times, and the results are always the same. I pulled my phone out of my pocket, unlocked it, and set it on the table. She asked what I was doing, and I told her that I was an open book, and she was free to look through my phone to prove I wasn't talking to other women. She smiled and said that she didn't need to look at my phone because she trusted me. More like she doesn't care. Let me backtrack. She cares, but she knows you're not the type of guy that would cheat. So she has that instinct. After I put my phone away, I asked to see her phone, and her smile slipped. She asked me why and if I didn't trust her. Bitch, you just brought up having an open relationship so you can go suck Chad and Tyrone's you-know-whats. No, I don't trust you. I told her that trust is earned and not given, and that she just told me that she wanted my permission to go out and F other guys. I said that I wanted to see her phone, and if I found out she'd been already talking to other men, our relationship was over. Very slick, brother. I'm not sure what she was thinking, but the excuses about why she didn't want me to look at her phone were pretty weak, including saying that I was acting insecure. Twist things around, now you're the bad guy. Lady, you're the one that brought up the open relationship thing. I can have a few requests. I asked to see her phone again, but she wouldn't let me see it, so I put enough money on the table to cover our meals and told her I had fun with her, but our relationship was over. Awesome. Nice job, man. She wasn't expecting that one from a guy who she thought that she had it made with. That's when she started freaking out and asked why. I told her the first thing that came to my mind, and while I agree I was probably an a-hole about it, that's the way I felt. Dude, well, number one, if they think you're being an a-hole, you're doing something right. But number two, you have every right to be an a-hole. I told her I didn't want to have a W-H-O-R-E as a girlfriend, and I told her to enjoy her single life before I got up and walked out. Awesome. You didn't just break up with her, but you left her ass there at the table. I guess I could have given her a ride home, but I already wasted a year on her, and she was a big girl. Uber, Lyft, taxi, her friends. You don't need to give her a ride home. She could find her own way home. The last time I saw her was her running out of the restaurant as I was pulling out of the parking lot. I'm trying to picture you driving away, and she's running out of the Cheesecake Factory, screaming and hollering. It's hilarious. By the time I made it back to my apartment, she had sent a bunch of texts and left some voicemails that I didn't even bother reading or listening to, before I blocked her number and then blocked her on all of my social media. I learned enough through my trials that they always say the same thing, and I wasn't going to waste any more time on someone that didn't deserve it. So that was 2022. Bro, I'm sorry that happened. However, you handle it like a boss, like a freaking RP Jedi Master. Good for you. And if you hadn't gone through all that bullshit back in the day, you might have gone along with this out of fear of losing her. and then married a chick like this. Because I guarantee you, she was thinking wedding bells. This is how it's done, guys. You don't accept this. Walk out and leave them. She ended up coming to my apartment a few times after that, trying to get me to talk to her, but I ignored her. Good. Nothing to talk about. And isn't it great that you didn't move in with her? You moved in with her and complicate things big time. It was after about 3 weeks that she finally gave up. It was her friend Angie, the one that went to pick her up with the busted tire, that brought the things that I had left at her apartment to me and told me what really happened. Now listen to this. Now we're going to find out, well, some of the story that led to this whole conversation. I guess she got drunk at her company's New Year's party and ended up hooking up with one of her coworkers, and she told Angie about it. There you go. There's always someone else. Angie told her that she had to tell me or she was going to... Angie told me that she had to tell me or so she was going to... Or so her solution was to propose an open relationship. She said that if I agreed to it, she was going to tell me everything after that I'd been with someone else, and she thought that I would make us even. Proposed the open relationship. This dude starts hooking up with other women. Then she tells him about it and says, oh, we're even. You see how calculating some of these gals can be? Angie told me how broken up Jane was and asked me if I'd give her another chance to come clean and maybe give her another chance. Smack. Well, that's just a smack to that idea. This guy doesn't deserve a smack, and I don't want anybody accusing me of things for smacking gals. Give me a freaking break. A second chance to someone that cheated on him and then tried to mind F him with that. Not a chance in hell. This is a man who's RP'd. This is a man in his early 30s where his prime is truly beginning. Why would he go back to someone like that? He can get other women. He doesn't need her. He chose to be with her. He didn't need to be with her. And that's where you all got to be. All you relationship guys, while it's on my mind, you're going to do relationships, fine. I don't want you needing your girl. You're with her because you choose to be. You sure as hell don't need her, and you can leave her if she crosses the line. That's how it has to be. And if it's not, bullshit starts. I thanked Angie for bringing my things over and telling me the truth before showing her the door. So that was my first experience with the open relationships, and even after the stories I've listened to, I was still a little surprised at how closely they all follow the same script. I think I'm going to spend the rest of 2023 working on myself and maybe finding some new hobbies. Maybe someday the relationship jungle will level out, but for now, the trouble isn't worth the time. Maybe there are some folks out there that are having better luck, but if they are hiding it pretty well. I haven't met anyone in my entire life that has had a relationship last any longer than 6 years. Thank you for the work you do putting information out, SSM. I wish the world was a different place, but I'm glad that I'm unplugged. Have a great year. Bro, I'm so proud of you that you handled it the way you did. That was fantastic. I mean, that really will brighten a lot of guys' days hearing that. You see, guys, what he went through early in life, and it was just terrible. Instead of just continuing on buying the BS narrative, he started looking for answers. Maybe that's how you found me. You were Googling, why did she cheat? Or why did she break up with me? Or whatever that led you to me. Or other channels. I'm not the only game in town. And this guy saw something was wrong and decided to fix himself. Didn't happen overnight, but it did. Still a relationship guy, or at least he was. Gave this girl a chance. Look what happened. Does this mean they're all going to behave this way? Of course not. But sadly, the numbers are rising. He mentioned the dating field leveling out one day. Well, that's going to be a while. But anyhow, bro, great job. I hope you do well. Yeah, take your time. Work on you this year. You know the drill. Exercise. Get healthy. Hit the gym. Work out. If you don't do the weight room, ride your bike. Go for jogs. Whatever. Stay active. That'll make you feel better. Eat well. Eat healthy. Hang out with your bros. Work hard to move up in your company. If you ever had a dream of starting your own business based on whatever skills you have, start thinking about that. Live beneath your means. Save your extra money. Invest it. Let it grow. Make something of yourself. You're in your prime. You're in your early 30s. More and more gals are going to be in their mid-20s, late 20s, are going to be looking to settle, and they're going to be chasing guys just like you. But now that you have this knowledge, you can be a single guy the rest of your life and just have your fun, because obviously you enjoy relationships, but you have this knowledge. And when they run their course, or there's any bullshit, whoosh, kick them to the curb. Again, you'll choose to be with the gals that you date, not because you need them, because you want them. And then when they disqualify themselves, whoosh, show them the door. It's a great job, great story. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let this guy know what you think. Give him a shout out. He handled this like a boss. He really showed you guys how to handle things. And just like so many of you guys, he went through bullshit too. He was hurt too, had his heart stomped out, and because it happens to all of us. It's happened to me before, long time ago, but I know what it's like. But you'll get through it, and you can either continue doing what you've done, which got you nowhere, or you can change. So there's hope for everybody. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Know what you think about this. I said that line already. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.